part 13 will cover from day 62 to 75, halfway into the third month with this character. Starting up on day 63, I went back to a spawn I tried much earlier at level 130, the Behemoths of Cyclopolis. But the reason I went back is because they were boosted. I first tried going to the ones in Forbidden Land, but it had 3 people hunting there. And in Cyclopolis, for most of the time, I was solo until somebody else came in, which made it a bit worse, but not as much as I expected. The raw experience was around the 700k, but with the green stamina and the boosted creature, I was at over 2kk the hour, while making some really good profit. But be aware that this was only viable because of the boosted creature. Otherwise, I already tried it before, and even now it's still the same. The experience only improved because the boost affects the respawn rate, and that made it possible to focus at just big pulls. I went from level 211 to 212, ended the day with over 700k of profit since I sold the Behemoth Fangs for 10k each later on. For day 64, I hunted Oramon West and also did a few communication tasks for the Oramon quest to speed up the process for the next promotion. For day 65, once again, a good creature got boosted. This time it was worms. My spawn of choice was the Elder Worms of Threfia, which was another place that I was going to try regardless because I had a prey set up and I was able to get it after waiting for a team to leave first. This ended up being a decent spawn. For raw experience alone, I was at around 1.1kk, and with the green and extra boost, it was over 3.2kk the hour, while also making around 100k the hour of profit. So I hunted this for 1 hour and a half until server save came up and finished the day at 215. But then for day 66, I came back to finish up the bestiary for worms and also the leftover of my XP prey I had. Without the boosted creature, my raw experience was still over 1kk, but I wasn't making profit anymore. Moving on, for day 67, I went back to Oramon East. This time I wanted to try the high class Minotaurs area with my summon. I got up to 1.25kk raw experience and making a bit of profit, but I was basically doing the same as I did a few days before without the summon, so it's not mandatory to have, it just makes the hunt safer. After testing that out, I tried out the Oramon South and overall just hunted Minotaurs while getting my last body points for the Oramon quest. On day 68, I exchanged the roots I had collected since the last time, which was 100 body points just from those, and the rest I had by doing killing tasks. Now with my promotion to Citizen, I unlocked access to Glut Bandits, which is where I ended up going. Glut Bandits East was taken up first, so I started by testing out the west side, on which I got up to over 1kk raw experience and around 100k profit the hour. Then when the west side was available, I moved there. The experience went up to over 1.2kk and the profit to over 150k the hour, which honestly was disappointing given the amount of effort required to unlock access to these spawns, but that's how it is. I came back the next day to use more of the XP prey I had and also to finish bestiary, but I also cut down the lap I was doing on the east side, and that improved the experience to over 1.3kk. Additionally, I was finally able to find a team to do the Phantom Army mission in order to work on the Wrath of the Emperor quest and unlock more spawns to try in the future. This took me over 10 days of spamming the advertising channel at different times, but never lucky enough to get a full team. But moving on, for day 70, I hunted on Oramon West and finally completed almost all the bestiary from there. Then for day 71, I had 2 free preys for heroes and vicious squares, so I went to the old fortress to use them. But also, I still had to work on the bestiary of Vile Grandmasters, and because of that, I hunted mostly the 3rd floor, even though I was missing out on getting more XP out of my free boost, which would have been better used at -2. But by hunting here, I was working on the Vile Grandmasters and also the Undead Gladiators. I continued to hunt here the next day as well, which was right before double experience, so for day 72, I only did 1 hour before server save and then continue after SS when the double started. I used most of my green stamina and finished at 227. After also getting the bestiary for the Grandmasters and Undead Gladiators, but since this double was double, aka XP and loot, I was also making good profit in this hunt, doing over 200k the hour. Then later on the day, after recovering the stamina, I started at Oramon Minos and then went to the good old Were Cave of Edron. And then there was a team looking for a sorcerer for Reaper Specters, so I joined them. Since they were desperate enough for finding a sorcerer, they even offered a free XP boost, which I took and was doing over 7kk the hour. I went from 230 to 233 in 1 hour and then we had to leave. Unfortunately, the free boost ended up not being free, as I didn't get paid my ways for the hunt once again. But hey, that's the no PvP experience, I suppose. For day 74, I started by hunting Oramon West since I still needed to finish the Constrictor bestiary, and then one druid ended up showing up and asking if I wanted to duel instead. I accepted the offer to test it out, and first of all, we were able to hunt without doing a lap and instead just going back and forth from point A to B, which was surprising to me, that we could put that off without overkilling, and the experience was a tiny bit better than what I did solo at almost 1.5kk. However, that must have been low for the druid because he left after 20 minutes. As for me, after doing 1 hour here and finishing the bestiary I needed, I decided to go finish my green stamina at the Were Cave of Edoram, which to this point still remains the best solo experience and the best profit as well. And then for the final day, I just continued to hunt there, ending the double experience at almost level 242. So the overall results for part 13 of this series covering days 72 to 75, I went from level 211 to 241, from magic level 78 to 81, spending 336 coins on mana gas and buying back 250. Keep in mind that since it was also double loot, it ended up increasing the cost of coins from 10k to 14k, and it's finally cheaper to get potions from the NPC than from the store. But also, with them being more expensive, it's even harder to profit this, which means I'm even closer to wrapping up the project, which I think I will be finishing at the 3rd month mark. Thank you for everyone that has been following the series and hopefully continue to do so until the end, but also show some love to the videos that will continue to come to the channel. With that said, thank you for watching, and a special thanks to Tuna Hero, Thor the Slasher, and Droken Watson for the donation to the channel.